abilities are kind of important because they will not give you bonuses for dice. Unlike most games, having a specific ability. So, for example, you shouldn't say something like expert swordsman. You're already an expert swordsman. So that's a useless ability. It makes no sense. An ability should be uh, something that you can do that you otherwise could not do. So, for example, you might have some sort of a leaping technique so that you could leap over a barrier or a river or something that another person simply cannot do. So that's what an ability is. It is something of that kind. It can be magical if you want the game to feel magical, or it doesn't have to be. Um, uh, it can be more like a skill or something like that. But something like lucky doesn't make any sense. The dice take care of luck. Healing doesn't make any sense. There is nothing in the game that will make you heal better or faster. The rules for damage are very strict. And so this is, think of it as a proactive action, something that your character performs that an ordinary person cannot do. Talk to ghosts, for example, or leap, spectacularly, or something like that. I mean, those are just many examples. There are lots of them, but lots of possibilities, but you should state it. You should not. There is no list.
Mhm.
So think of something like that for your character.
I'm thinking of an ability in something like maybe like extremely good perception, like eyesight or seeing very far, seeing
Well, it has to be
being
some ways that others cannot see. Again, it is not an
no,
improvement in what others can do, it is something they cannot do.
yeah. So what I'm like, so it is more of an something that is almost supernatural,
Correct.
almost
Even though
like
we may justify it by saying, oh, that's an amazing technique or something
yeah.
like that.
But I think in the sense of like seeing like the eagle sight or like seeing extremely uh, far ahead or something
Okay.
like that. So
Okay. So you could even make a sense that it is, sees like an eagle. So you really can
yeah,
focus on something very far away that others simply cannot.
yeah, and yeah, that was my
Hmm.
what I was thinking at
Okay.
least. Does
I
that
was
make
think
sense?
Yeah, sure. Max?
I was thinking about kind of a climber, or
Very good.
maybe
That's actually
a
one of their
parkour artist.
yeah. That's actually one of their
Uh,
examples.
a guy that can get through terrain very easily and fast.
Yes, I completely get it. Yeah. That's actually one of their examples that there's kind of this, nobody can climb that cliff and you're like, "Wait, oh, he can do it. Oh my god, look at him climb."
And we get two.
I'm thinking about it and considering the kind of struggling that I am perceiving, let's get one apiece. You really don't. And in some ways, the less you have, the more it's really characteristic of you, and less like a bank of powers and more like the thing I can do. So let's do two. Let's do one apiece at this time.
Okay, I was thinking like something getting through spaces or getting into places others can't reach. So I don't mean climbing exactly, but squeezing
I see.
through small
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
cracks
Right.
or like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. That makes perfectly good sense. Nathan, do you have any ideas?
Yes. I was thinking about some form of dueling people, like some not illusion, but like making music with pipe winds. That is kind of making people sleep.
I see. Yes, yes. You
Sleep
have
for not
we could
paying
even
attention.
we
Not
could
necessarily-
even leave it
Sorry.
a little bit general and just say that you are an enchanting musician. You can do amazing things, almost magical, with your music.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The idea is the idea is more like distraction than real combat
Yes.
thing.
Yes. I completely see. Max, do you want the other ability that you mentioned, or do you want to keep the climbing?
I want to keep the climbing. I think it's more fun that way.
Okay. So then I know it's going on, but I'm going to ask you two questions, and you need to tell the answers to the other players right now among us, but the characters do not necessarily know it. Okay. So the first one is, why is the character a Ronin? Nobody does this voluntarily. Nobody resigns from the privileged position of a samurai. You had to fall. You had to suffer. Or perhaps it was unjust and your master stripped the privilege from you, even though you didn't deserve it. But for some way, you are considered to have been dishonored.
You said something about the rat being having a temper, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Would that be reason enough to get into trouble, like killing somebody
Absolutely.
I shouldn't have killed because of nothing, basically?
Right. Yes. That's a great reason.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I was thinking about trying to attempt something and failing lamentably.
Right.
Failing.
You failed in a particular mission that was extremely important, and maybe there was some sort of a dreadful outcome because of the failure.
Yeah.
How important is it that this is? I don't know. I was thinking about like a kind of a betraying my not only my status as a samurai, but also my class, my family.
That's all the same thing. When you become a Ronin, you lose all those things.
Yeah, but what I did was to anger my father.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Yeah. If you
and
had
do I want to be? Do you want me to be specific?
Well, you should at the moment think about it at least.
Yeah, I refused. I don't know if you're married as a samurai.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I refused to an arranged marriage.
Right. So if you were cast out of your family, then your status as a samurai would go with it. So Max, any ideas?
I was thinking that I lost my status. I was thinking about using this. The dog was very had a sense of duty, and it was a good relationship. So maybe he was building up a sort of group, or more or less a mutiny, to trying to take over power.
You got ambitious. Yes.
Yeah.
Something that can easily happen.
Started to rally, and in that way became dangerous.
I will serve the fortress and the clan better if we had a better lord, and I suppose I could be the better lord. Yes. And if that doesn't work out, that would be the end of you. You probably all of you were probably lucky to remain alive. So, or did something ferocious in order to stay alive. So That sounds great. Now, there is a similar, now, of course, all of you know your fates, but you don't know, you have not shared the fate with us, and you are not supposed to. So we don't know how these backstories relate to your character's fate. But obviously, there is some connection there. And then another similar, and the last question, there are two, is why do you need the money? The implication is that this is the character's only option to earn the money you need. And so you could make money other ways, but none of them will reward you like this. And you need this much, at least.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does it have to be about money?
Well, it doesn't have to be about money for you as your character if you have the fate and this backstory is enough for you, and perhaps the zodiac is all working together for you. But so it may not be your character's primary motivation, but it is still real.
Okay.
So you may have this other reason for the money, and it may not be the most important thing in your character's internal state.
Can you give some examples in this society? What would money get you?
Well, for one thing,
This such an amount of money.
right?
What would be?
For one thing, it might buy you travel far away to where your name is not known. So perhaps the people who still want to kill you or to act upon your disgrace will never get you. Perhaps passage to a foreign land or to a faraway part of Nippon, which is the name for Japan.